Hello everyone, today we go back in time to the good old 1870s when we take a look at the HBO series Deadwood. The critically acclaimed HBO series that ran from 2004 through 2006, it can be found on most top 10, top 5 HBO series of all time, which is saying a lot because, as many people know who are TV enthusiasts, HBO has had quite the fantastic run of television series over their entire history. The show consists of 36 episodes spread over 3 seasons, and like I said in the intro, it's set in the 1870s, the post-American Civil War time period. It also stars many actors and actresses that people are probably more aware of now than they were when the show was out. Such actors as Timothy Olyphant, Ian McShane, Molly Parker, Powers Booth, John Hawkes, Anna Gunn. Like I also said, it was also very much critically acclaimed while it aired and is viewed now in a much more positive light as popularity has grown over the years since its ending. During its time when it was on the air, it was nominated for 28 Emmys, winning 8, 6 for its first season and 2 for its second. None for its third, unfortunately. It was also nominated for 2 Golden Globes, and its one win in that award ceremony was for Ian McShane's fantastic performance as Al Swearingen. Let's talk about what makes this series so well received, so beloved by so many. Much of that has to do with the excellent ensemble cast. Like I mentioned earlier, some really, really great, fantastic actors worked on this show when it was on. Also, a lot of detail and production value went into making this series look as authentic as possible to the time period that it was meant to be depicted in. The writing on this show is phenomenal. The dialogue is so rich and thick and, I would dare say, Shakespeareanly complex. Also, this show is very much a play-like atmosphere in which all these characters are moving around this town of Deadwood, making all kind of political maneuvers, all kind of power maneuvers, backstabbings and all this infighting for power. It's very Shakespearean in its themes. So you have all these Shakespearean themes set in this 1870s gritty, grimy, dirty Western setting where there's just lawlessness and free reign to do whatever you want. The show is set in a real location. It's called Deadwood, South Dakota, and at the time that Deadwood was depicted in the series, it was part of the Dakota Territory, so it was not a state yet. So it was technically not really under any type of law jurisdiction, so you could literally get away with murder, rape, burglary, whatever you want. It was really, really a lawless and unforgiving time, and the show very much depicts that. It depicts these really immoral people living in kind of a very much immoral time, and it's wonderfully portrayed by the actors in here. Really strong acting. I can't emphasize that enough. Creator of the series, David Milch, really went for that authenticity as much as he could. Really successfully blending historical and fictional things into the story and plot of the show. He took first-hand account diaries from the times, people who actually lived in Deadwood, saw the people, because the characters in the series are based on real-life, legendary kind of heroic figures of the time. People like Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, even Wyatt Earp makes a cameo appearance in the series. These are real-life, Western icons, that have since gone on to be immortalized in, movies and songs and other television series. So he really put a lot of work into making this as authentic as possible. And if you watch all of the special features, or at least most of them, you see how much work and how much detail went into the production of the series, how much just an immense amount of preparation to make this the best series that they possibly could at the time. It's also not traditionally a Western, as some may think. There are very much, cowboys and Native Americans and wide open, canyons and valleys that you see these great, horse rides through and stuff like that. It's very much a very small, self-contained story, all within Deadwood, giving it that play-like atmosphere that I mentioned earlier. A lot, but it still holds a lot of Western themes. You know what I mean? The idea of Western expansion, new opportunity. A lot of the characters come to Deadwood seeking new opportunity, a new place to live, new employment, new business opportunities, because Deadwood is very much started as a gold mining camp. In the 1800s, there were a lot of people who expanded west because of the gold rushes that were around. One of the main kind of, I would say, faults with the series, if it does indeed have any faults, and it really doesn't have many, is that the dialogue is so heavy, it is so rich, that a lot of it is going to go over people's heads or not be able to be understood by some people, and you're gonna have to rewind a few times, maybe look up a few words in the dictionary, stuff like that. And also, unfortunately, the series falls under the category of canceled too soon. By what I mean by saying that is that the show doesn't have a finite ending, unfortunately. There are talks now for a movie to be made at HBO to kind of, maybe wrap up the series a little more or continue the series to see where these characters are now, because unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't have a finite finality. And a lot of shows fall victim to that, unfortunately. A lot of great series have gone on to have, a couple of seasons, some even one season where, they are excellent, but they didn't have the support or viewership at the time that was needed for the show to continue. I think this was probably a combination of both low viewership and probably high production costs, because like I said, it looked like a lot of money went into the production of the series. I think now there are more avenues for people to watch television, so that viewers and ratings really don't mean as much as they used to. So a lot of older series are getting more exposure, like Deadwood. I did not watch Deadwood when it came on. I've only seen it, more recently, and that's why I'm discussing it now and not while it was on. Also, kind of a disclaimer, if you are someone who is squeamish about profanity and nudity and stuff like that, this is probably not the show for you, because it is very much authentic to the time, to the way people probably spoke and probably acted in this area. What is fantastic, though, is that the series really is unapologetic about that. You know what I mean? They're really trying to depict those times as authentically as possible, as I keep stating. But like I say, this series is fantastic if you're into this type of high quality, high acting type of series. With that being said, I would like to show you a more inside and in-depth look at this packaging, because it is very, very nice packaging, and it is very, very nice, well put together Complete Series Blu-ray set. Here we are taking a closer look at the Complete Series Blu-ray set of Deadwood put out by HBO. Here you see it's kind of in a box. But what you can't tell is that all this here is textured in a very rough way, and there's also kind of extended artwork here along the edges to make it look very, very rough, very almost burnt-ish. And here up top here is the title of the series, Deadwood, in gold lettering, slightly indented, not too much. It's not embossed, but indented. And here on top is kind of just the usual flap you see with a lot of television series. Some people take them off. I like to keep them on. It kind of preserves everything in its original form as much as I can, So here's the front, here's the back with a lot of, details and stuff, Just ignore the glare, the lighting's a little rough over here. And here it is. It's actually housed in kind of like very much a book-like setting. So here is the kind of a slip box cover, and you take this off and it separates like so. We'll put that over there. And here you have a cover which shows some of the main characters from the series. Like I said, it's more of an ensemble cast, so there's not much of a main characters, but there's certain more prominent players. Here is Al Swearengin, played by Ian McShane. Here is Timothy Oliphant, who plays Seth Bullock. Here's Molly Parker. Here is a great character actress who you see probably in many TV series called Paula Malcolmson, and she's wonderful in this series as well. So here we go. So it kind of opens in book-like form. We have wonderful, great artwork here. You know, wonderful panoramic, depicting season 1, which says, kind of a title or theme, season 1, a hell of a place to make your fortune, which is kind of very much is an accurate depiction of what Deadwood is as a place. And you turn over here and you see a lovely picture of Ian McShane as Al Swearengin inside the Gem Saloon, which is a business that he owns, and operates kind of wheeling and dealing. And here on the right is, season 1, disc 1, which has episodes 1 through 4. It's kind of nice that they actually put the episode contained in the disc actually on here, so you know which episodes are on each disc. A lot of complete series sets are shying away from that. Here we have Wild Bill Hickok, played by Keith Carradine. And here we have a subsequent kind of real-life picture of what Wild Bill Hickok looked. So you kind of get like a fictionalized version and a real version of what the character looked like. Once again, the episode listing, the disc. Here you have a character called Mr. Wu, who is kind of very much part of the Chinese population within Deadwood. A lot of people don't realize this, but in the 19th century in the American West, there was a lot of Chinese immigrants. A lot of them immigrated to the American West. And he's very much kind of a representation of that time period and what they were in the American West. Here's a picture of John Hawkes, who plays Saul Starr, another kind of historical character who was, a businessman in Deadwood during the 1870s. And here we have a nice kind of panoramic view of a lot of the main characters in a meeting. I kind of like this book styling. Some people don't like it, because the discs aren't really stored in a great way. You kind of have to go in there yourself and dig them out of here, which kind of can lead to a lot of fingerprints and a lot of smudging. But, a lot of people don't realize this, but Blu-ray discs are very much scratch resistant, and they're kind of more sturdy than DVDs, so they can withstand, little fingerprints here and there. Deep scratches, of course, will affect it negatively. Just some more artwork. I really like how thick this cardboard is. It's not this cheaply thin cardboard that you see on some complete series sets where they're kind of just so cheaply made that the discs are barely held together and the thing falls apart, the glue comes undone. I'm sure many people have come across that. This is a very solidly well-crafted set put out by HBO. They really take care of their series in terms of packaging, in terms of extras. They really make the premium price that their products are priced at worth it. Here we are, season 3. Here's Molly Parker. Molly Parker, who probably some people know, now starring in the Netflix series House of Cards. Also, if you've seen House of Cards, you know this actor as well. He plays a kind of prominent role in the series House of Cards as well. Calamity Jane. Here we are at the end with kind of a nice town map of Deadwood. It's not that big of a town, but a lot seems to go on there, and what I really like about this set is that it also has an extras disc entirely made up of extras, which you don't see a lot of when it comes to complete series sets. Also, I didn't mention, but each season actually has its own extras disc, which is very, very nice. A lot of season sets and complete series sets don't have that. They kind of spread the extras over the course of the discs along with the episodes, so it's really nice to have a whole disc concentrated on providing extras. And the extras package on this series set, I should say, is actually very, very extensive. There are 17 commentaries on various episodes. throughout the 3 season run. There are also great behind the scenes kind of features that really show you the production and really give you a look at the historical Deadwood and its place and its time and its people and where they drew their inspiration for the series. So it's and they're very lengthy. They're not short. Some of them can wager anywhere between 12 minutes to sometimes an hour-long feature that really delves inside a season finale or something like that. So the box set really makes the high price worth it. This specific packaging is probably becoming harder and harder to find. This season set did come out in 2010, which was 6 years ago, which is which as time goes on, a lot of these sets in their original packagings become harder and harder to find. They've since reissued this series set in a packaging where they just have each individual season inside a kind of larger Blu-ray casing, and they just put all three of them next to one another inside this boxing here, or something similar to this type of boxing. And I know a lot of fans are not happy about that because they want the original release, they want the nicer, thicker packaging, and with the new packaging, you'd think would come kind of cheaper pricing, but it really doesn't. So, I'd poke around online, poke around your local stores to see if you can find this particular one, because it's really nice to have all of this extra artwork, and it's a really solid set. I'd also say if you're more into streaming now, because I know streaming television series is all the rage now with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, etc. You can find this series on HBO Go, HBO Now, or even through the on-demand service of your cable company or your satellite dish company or whatever. You can find this series. I think it's well worth it. It's only 36 episodes, and it's a really high quality series. So this has been a television series review from Cabzilla Productions. Thank you for watching, and stick around because there's going to be more videos like this to come.